This is UniTalk, the podcast series of the University of Debrecen. We've saved you a seat. In each episode, we'll show you a different aspect of life at UD. Students, professors, and researchers will take you behind the scenes to talk about their life, work, and passion.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast series of the University of Debrecen, UniTalk. I'm Dori and I'm here with one of my colleagues, Esther, today.
Hello, and today we have a guest, László Erdei, who is the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Business and Economics of the University of Debrecen. Hello László, how are you today?
Hello, great, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Would you be so kind as to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, so my name is László Erdei and I'm the Vice Dean for International Affairs of the Faculty of Economics and Business. And at the same time, I'm the head of the Institute of World Economy and Economics.
What shall we know about your faculty? What are you dealing with at the moment?
I'm a very proud member of this faculty since this is one of the largest faculties of the university. In terms of its number of students, I have almost 170 great colleagues, invested very much in teaching, and we are committed to a high level of education of Hungarian and international students, and at the same time to carry out high quality and well-known research in the world.
What kind of research topics are covered by the faculty?
The faculty basically covers almost all the topics that can be covered by a Faculty of Economics and Business. The research topics are pretty much organized by institutes at the faculty. We have 10 institutes from sports management through rural development to marketing to business economics, accounting and finance. So most fields that might be interesting for anyone are covered by the faculty.
Coming back to global economics, what are the recent trends or challenges the world economics should face?
Yeah, it's not an easy question to answer since there are so many different ways the global economy is changing, transforming that, a clear view cannot really be seen right now, but we can see some trends that are more important probably than some others. We are after I should say, or I can say hopefully that we are after the COVID-19 pandemic, but this doesn't mean that we cannot expect any more pandemics coming in the century. So we have to be prepared for that. We are in the middle of a very serious and violent crisis, a war between Ukraine and Russia right now. We are in a situation when the transformation of capitalism is on the process, I would say, with many challenges we have to answer.
Okay, let's start by COVID. What effect did the pandemic have on the global economics?
Okay, so beyond the terrible loss of human life on Earth, we also suffered many breakdowns in the previously well-established economic processes. That means that supply chains collapsed from one moment to another. The way of living has been changed. Also, a deep technological transformation started. We were witnessing just a part of it in our university life is the very strong and fast advent of online education. And all the adjustments we had to make in order to carry out that in a satisfactory quality. So I was talking about the reorganizations of the supply chains. That means that now many companies are seeking different ways of organizing their networks of suppliers.
Can you give us some concrete examples?
Yeah, if you just take the automobile industry or any kind of industry that is not anymore vertically integrated, meaning that not the way they work, not the way they used to in the beginning of the 20th century, that the raw material went into the factory and by the end of the line a new car just came out. This was reorganized in the 1960s and 1970s when this value chain was broken down into smaller parts, and all these smaller parts were outsourced to different other countries in order to decrease the costs of operations. Now we can see some opposite movements, some reverse organization of the companies, meaning that, due to the break in these chains, due to the problems with procuring materials, raw materials, procuring intermediate products, we are at another way. So many companies decided to basically bring their suppliers closer. That means that German companies actually now seeking for Hungarian places for investment in terms of producing parts and intermediate products for their end products. So the way of thinking regarding the organization of the whole production system, service supply was deeply changed or is being changed right now.
And I guess there's the human factor as well. In a pandemic, when people are unable to go to work, they have to follow certain restrictions, they might fall ill. So that kind of creates tension. And I guess that can mean that there's shortage in human resources as well, which eventually will affect the economy.
I absolutely agree. Beyond the fact that the healthcare system was under an enormous pressure, the pandemic actually started to change the way of ways of thinking of people all around. On one hand, you're absolutely right when you say that there were labor shortages in many places. You just might think that even the very reliable Lufthansa airline actually had problems with the local services at the airports, leading to schedule changes, cancelled flights, and so on. So obviously, the companies had to fight with the pandemic themselves through their human resources. At the same time, as the companies allowed their employees to work from home, they perceived a very interesting change. They were not really in the knowledge of that. When people are home, they work as much as diligently as in their workplace. So probably we are witnessing a tendency when working from home is not an extra for an employee, but it's a natural thing because this whole reorganization of the firms actually turned out to be cheaper for many companies. And I would like to go back to the labor market part of it. So the pandemic not only decreased or created labor shortages or decreased the labor market, at the same time it opened because it allowed that employees or workers or professionals from faraway places could join the company. So for a company now in a large city, a large and expensive city, like in Tokyo or I would say most of California, even I can talk about Budapest here in Hungary, which is not the cheapest town of the country. They actually realized that they can hire very good professionals from other places of the country, so who are happy to work with these companies from home, and they can spend a couple of days or each month or each week in the headquarters as well.
And also, let's not forget about another factor, that people were forced to stay at home, shops were closed, and when everything was relieved, people wanted to consume. So the demand for goods increased. For example, there was a shortage of new cars, for example, because people wanted to buy a new stuff, new cars, for example, and the companies couldn't supply that many of new products.
Yeah, absolutely right. And this is the reason why we can see global inflationary wave in the economy. It's absolutely, it has a demand side, as you mentioned, that, well, people started to consume more, meet more. They restarted to buy services like travels and so on. At the same time, the global value chains, as I mentioned, so the procurement chains are collapsed, and on the supply side, the firms are not able to answer these new waves of demand. So that creates inflation, because people want to consume more. The companies are not able to supply in the right quantity. That might even decrease the competition. That means that prices can go up. And I guess that in the medium term, this is what we can expect in the global economy and almost all countries of the globe.
And also, let's not forget that during the pandemic, people went online shopping, and it kind of became a habit, like a second nature to keep buying things online. And from places from all over the world, basically, they can just order something from China and it arrives in 3 days, which obviously we had online shopping before the pandemic, but due to the fact that we couldn't actually leave the house and physically go to a mall to go shopping, we instead sat in front of our computers and just put everything in the basket, and that became, I think, an issue to certain people. I see even with my friends, myself as well, that we kind of, online shopping is a hobby now, and I guess that has an imprint on the global economy as well.
Yes, and of course many shops and companies had to go online. They need to open a web shop. So now
things are available to more people, not just locally where the shop is or where they have a store open. For example, let's just take, I don't know, Zara. It's not available in every city of Hungary, for example, but now that it's online, everybody can buy it. So I'm guessing that kind of doubles their
income.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
I absolutely agree with that. I guess that even without the pandemic, there was a process underway, mostly for Y-Gen and Z-Gen people. Shopping online became a fashion, a habit. The wider choice to be unique in their environment was much more available from shopping online. Because if you go to just one shop in the city or a different kind of stores, probably you cannot be that unique. Okay, so it created a new wave of fashion to be, different than some other people. Also, there were followers who joined this group, and my life also changed. Myself, I'm, I would say an ex-gen. That means that, I used online shopping time by time mostly for goods that were not really available easily either in Hungary, neither here in Debrecen. And I started online shopping, and I remained that. I'm a heavy online shopper as well by now. And it's
targeted ads, they really help. When you just surf on one or two sites that sell the products that you're interested in, after that there's no stopping. It will pop up everywhere on every website that you log on where there are ads. You will see these targeted ads just for you when the product that you wanted to buy. So it's
a terrible temptation. Yes. It is very hard to not fall into the trap of continuous buying. And also you can just observe the data on the indebtedness of the families. And in the developed countries, partly this is due to very, very high levels of consumption, even higher levels of consumption that they could really
should afford.
Afford. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you said that there were certain companies who suffered great loss because of COVID, but were there any sector, or was there any sector which increased during the pandemic?
Yeah, online retail, obviously, we just talked about it, and many companies that were fast enough to be flexible, to go to the online space, and offer their services and their products flexibly to their consumers. They were the winners, and also I guess that many people just were surprised that healthcare and education is very, very important to survive. That means that mostly those people lost their jobs who were not educated enough. Mostly those people lost their jobs who were not healthy enough. So more and more people actually was facing the situation that they have to invest in education and in healthcare.
And with online means to do, at least for education, to join courses, to find material online from home, I guess that gave them a boost and motivation to start something while sitting at home. So a lot of these online courses, online available programs, I guess they're soaring now. They're very popular. Everybody's starting something new on the side, learning languages, learning a new skill. Even if it's not a whole university course, just a course for 2 or 3 months. And I always see ads for that, for example.
So adaptation and flexibility was a key for companies or for certain sectors. And now let's move on and talk about the war.
Which is another unfortunate factor that affects the global economy.
Yeah, the war is here in Hungary and mostly in Europe is something that people are deeply surprised. But I wouldn't say that violent conflict was non-existent until the point when Russia actually invaded Ukraine. We had many, many violent conflicts all over the world, almost 50, 60 ongoing conflicts, but they were not that close to our borders than this one. So actually it came in a period when most of the people in Europe and probably in the developed world thought that we are quite all right. The economy is growing fast enough. People are spending more, so the companies were happy. Most of the consumers were happy at the same time. Not all the places. This is due to some other factors. But actually this conflict brought violence very close to us. So it's a shock what Europe is right now on, in a situation of a shock. And probably it raises our attention for other parts of the world as well, that they are suffering from the same. The Syrian conflict is on since, I don't know, since 2011. There is a war in Yemen. There is a mass immigration of people, forced immigration of people from Myanmar. We can go to several countries of the African continent where these violent conflicts were always on. In terms of economy, we are always trying to. We are able to prove that conflicts might be fruitful for some companies on the short run, like companies that produce materials for the war, and also, of course, for producers of arms and supplies for the army. But even in the short run, actually, economic development is something that we cannot really think about in a violent situation.
Do you have any predictions on how it will affect the economy in the long run if this war stays with us a bit longer?
I guess that, once again, I think that first of all, we should not forget about the human losses.
Yes, the terrible losses. Yes.
Yes.
Ukraine should suffer.
These people cannot be replaced, so it's no way. Probably what we lose in the economy, that can be rebuilt, but the losses of lives, never. So in terms of the economy, I think that, I don't have any kind of prediction regarding the length of the conflict, of the war. The shorter is the better, of course, in all aspects. But if the war continues for a month now, all the economies will, I think, suffer quite deeply in many aspects. Mostly, it will reinforce those kinds of reorganization of the companies that try to increase their resilience, to find more different sources, to create redundant networks of suppliers, redundant channels of wholesale and retail. So basically, this war is something that we will all feel in economic terms as well. Higher prices, sometimes lack of some products and services that we are really used of in terms of consuming them, high food prices, and we could list it till the end of the day.
Yeah, and also sometimes a shortage of a certain product is not actually because there's not enough of it as it is, but because people get panic because of the threat of a war or a pandemic or something, and they just bulk buy things, kind of like preparing for the apocalypse. And then you see that there's, like, when there wasn't enough toilet paper when the pandemic started, because people were like, we need to buy more toilet paper, and there was a shortage. And it wasn't because there wasn't enough originally, because people bought like 3 or 4 times more than they actually needed. So I think that's something that we collectively need to kind of address and need to rethink, that it doesn't make sense to keep bulk buying things, because then obviously there will be a shortage, and then people who need just one item, then they will not be able to buy it because we bought like 10 or 20 of the same product. So I always think about that. Sometimes the shortage is not created by the actual situation, but because people are panicking.
Yeah, this is some way how capitalism actually works and how our mind works. So it's interesting how these psychosis effects can be felt up. You are absolutely right, and I think that economists, but more politicians, have a very important role in this situation. They have to be able to calm these types of hysteria, and also, at the same time, they have to communicate in a trustable, prudent, and calm way to convince people that these shortages can be overruled, or they are not existent at all. At the same time, I think that some shortages might still come, because we should not forget that Eastern Ukraine, Western Russia is very important part of the manufacturing industry of the world. Both countries are really important in agricultural production, mostly of wheat. So, in some cases, the overconsumption or buying large stocks of different products doesn't make any sense. But if we can even count with some shortages or price increases, I guess that probably we won't see empty shelves in the shops, but we might meet with much higher prices in some cases.
And can you notice any shortage or any problems in Hungary or in Debrecen?
Well, I have just anecdotal, evidence for that, and it's not from Hungary right now. It is more from the western part of Europe, where people are really thinking on how to heat their houses. So they are changing to alternative energy sources. Well, there is anecdotal evidence that sometimes people don't find wheat flour in the shops, but this is more of a this shock and stocking,
Panic buying.
panic buying, absolutely. But I guess that the territory we will feel it the strongest way is energy prices. But probably it is good news that here in Debrecen, which is the second largest town of Hungary, we are pretty safe. Although if you take a look at the map, the border, the Ukrainian border, might seem very close. Fortunately enough, the war is very far from us right now. And Debrecen has a sound economy, a very good cooperation between industry or the economy, the local private economy, the city and the university. And also, I think that, this triad, if I can call them this way, made the most important steps to create a sound background economy for Debrecen to not only survive but to flourish in the next couple of years.
That's great news, and I guess it's it helps a lot when people hear that here in Debrecen they should be safe, and it calms their anxiousness about the situation. So thank you for sharing that. I wanted to get to the education part of your faculty now real quick, because internationals, as you mentioned, you have a lot of students and international students as well. So international students definitely have the ways and means to join this faculty and come to study in Debrecen. There are multiple programs that they can join. For example, for bachelor's, there's commerce and marketing, and then there's
the business
administration and management. And for master's, they can join the international economy and business program, and there's PhD possibilities as well.
Also, we have rural development programs if someone is interested in them.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And do you have some research projects where students can also join?
Absolutely. We are very happy when we can involve students in research, because actually it keeps our minds fresh. We get a specific insight from our students in this research. So I think it has very long traditions in our faculty to work with students. Yesterday I was very happy as a part of the students competition at the university scientific competition. We had a fantastic section on international economy and business economics, where the research the students demonstrated and presented was extremely high quality, and our international students are really on the edge regarding their research activity as well. We are very happy with that.
And we have students joining your faculty from all over the world. Just yesterday I talked to Kana, who's our student ambassador from Japan. She studies business as well. And we have another 2 student ambassadors from Tunisia.
Mm-hmm.
They come from all over the world, and it's so good to see.
We are very, very proud of that, and we are very happy with that, because it's a fantastic thing to meet so many different cultures, so many different people. I think our faculty is really open faculty in terms of international cultures. We are very proud of ourselves as an international community, and we try to do anything in our power to attract international students to the faculty.
Mm-hmm.
That's great to hear.
And the application deadline for your programs is the 15th of June.
for all international students this year. So if you would like to apply and join this faculty, then you can go to ed.unidep.hu where you will find the application form to fill out. If you have any questions beforehand, you can write us an email. You can find us on basically all social media platforms. You can check out our TikToks. You can write us on Instagram, see a couple of photos, and you can write us on Facebook as well.
So, thank you very much, Laszlo, for your kind contribution.
Yes, it was very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
It was a great pleasure from me.
Thank you very much. And until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.